my experience in this alternative education system, which we have deemed custom schooling. So I tried a couple of different systems in traditional schooling. I started with a very progressive, liberal private school, which the academics just weren't quite rigorous enough. So we switched to a much more structuralized, very traditional private school where, for example, there were uniforms and such. And it was more challenging, but not really for the reasons we wanted. It was just kind of harder to be part of the conforms of that school as opposed to actually more rigorous education. So, in 7th grade, inspired by ideas from a homeschooling conference that summer, I undertook a project, which I'm still enrolled in, of custom schooling, which is a one-on-one, where we hire teachers one-on-one to teach me over the course of a day, or over years. And so when we first started, we kind of pushed the limits of what we could do. So as I started with a bird school. I've been long interested in the study of birds, taught by the great Rich Stalkup here in the blue hat, where every Wednesday I would go up to Petaluma and really learn firsthand from one of the great minds of Western field ornithology. And additionally, my family is really interested in going back to the original sources and the original texts. So instead of learning from textbooks about long ago, actually reading the texts. So we went back to Euclid's Elements. My father and I went through each proof one by one and proved every proof in the first book from the original Euclid's Elements text as a method of learning geometry. And additionally, my language studies really improved. I was able to, in English, which was always kind of a chore in traditional schooling, I never really liked it very much, and it was kind of just something I had to do. But with this program, we were able to really study in depth what I wanted to study. And we were able to go on and read books that aren't necessarily on the traditional system, along with many classics. But for example, I got really into Steinbeck and read many of his works, including The Pearl pictured here. And I actually went with my teacher to Salinas and Cannery Row and thought that learning and studying in the areas that Steinbeck wrote would help me understand his literature in a more in-depth level. Oh, I forgot to mention, yes. Additionally, my Chinese studies I've been able to really improve on, because with a one-on-one system, you don't have to go as slow as the slowest component in your class. So compared to following their textbook, I was actually, of my old school, I was able to go 3 times the speed in this new traditional schooling, or custom schooling system. So, surprisingly, the biggest question people ask about my schooling is not actually about the academics. It's about socialization. And as I mentioned, I'm really interested in birds. And the birding community isn't exactly, well, young. So, most of my friends were in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And I did have friends my age, but that wasn't the majority. But still, I have been able to have peer groups my age, such as the Student Science Fellows Program cohort at the Academy of Sciences, pictured here. So one of the greatest boons of this education system has been increased travel opportunity. So I've been able to, I was at a bird sound recording workshop in early June 2013, where I'm holding a snake, pictured here. And in November 2012, I visited South Texas for the Lower Rio Grande Valley Birding Festival in November, which wouldn't have been possible without this system. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but just left of my thumb, right around there, there's a Texas specialty, a common paraque. Might be a little clearer in that image. So additionally, I was able to go on a few business trips with my father that were really influential, such as to the Middle East and South Africa. Additionally, it's really helped my flexibility overall and has afforded me a lot of free time for birding and other activities. So one of my big projects during this period has been studying birds striking windows at the California Academy of Sciences. And I've been able to present this at several conferences throughout this period because of my increased flexibility throughout the year. And so to go in a little bit deeper into my study, so I've been able to work at the Academy, at the California Academy of Sciences, in normal hours. So normally, I would always have to do it right after school and kind of scrunch it in the last few hours of their working period. But through this system, I've been able to go into the Academy in times that I should be at the Academy, when all the scientists are there, but in the middle of the day, since it is an academic institution. Most people are there from 9 to 5. So this system has really allowed me to further my research in ways that would have been impossible in a traditional system. And I've also just been able to really expand upon my passion of birding. So this year I'm doing a big year in California, trying to see as many species as possible in one calendar year in this state. So additionally, I've really been able to have increased organization skills and travel throughout the city to learn anywhere as opposed to just in one classroom. So for example, a typical day for me might start in the Richmond at my dad's workplace where we have many classes, go over to San Francisco State University to take classes there, which I have been doing for my science curriculum, going over to downtown to take Chinese, and then maybe going back to my own house to have some of the other classes. In addition to all of these, I've also been able to expound upon a lot of extracurricular subjects, as all pictured here. So, all in all, I figured that custom schooling is a really viable one-on-one education system that can be expanded for many kids, even though others may not have the same travel potential. It still is an incredible way to further people's learning, as well as having them be able to go in depth about what they want to learn. Thank you all for listening.